Hey, so because this drywall plaster situation has been such a unique problem in the house, I thought that it deserved its own video. In case anybody out there goes through this, or they have a old house with plaster that they're trying to demo, this may be helpful to you if you have plaster and drywall with the mesh screen at the top of the ceiling. And if you want to keep the ceiling, we want to keep the ceiling because there's new insulation up there, so we don't want to drop that if we can help it. But the problem is, let me switch the camera around. So here's the problem. Here's the problem. We want to keep the ceiling, but the ceiling has this wire mesh that I've spent a lot of time talking about. So that, of course, really grabs that plaster and drywall up there. So how do you get that down without tearing the crap out of your ceiling? You can see we got the rest of the house. All of it looks pretty good out here, pretty good. So I'm by myself today. I can't have somebody hold the camera, so I'm going to show you a step at a time how I did this, and it's still fairly laborious, but it's a lot better than doing it by hand, which is what we started out doing. So this tool right here is, you can call it an air chisel, a scaler. Basically, guys in shipyards or who do heavy-duty welding will use this to chip slag off of stuff. You can get it at any welding supply store. This particular brand is West Pro, but it's basically like a mini jackhammer. Takes a lot of oil. If you get one of these, make sure you have a bottle of air oil handy. Uses a lot of them. So the first thing I'm going to do is run a line, so to speak, at the top of the ceiling to separate the wall from the ceiling. Let me show you.
Now this looks a little funky because I'm trying to do it one-handed while holding the phone, but you get the idea. Just draw that line across there. Then you want to get the drywall off of the screen. Sorry, you want to get the drywall off the screen. Once the drywall is off the screen, this thing will vibrate right up underneath it and separate it. Now at this point, if I had it loosened up better over here in the corner, this would pretty much just drop out, but you can get up underneath it. And then these pieces will just kind of break off and drop out of there. Now again, this would look a lot better if I had somebody here to hold the camera and I could do it two-handed, but you get the gist of it. It's laborious. It takes a while, but it's much better than doing it by hand. And if you want to keep the ceiling, it's pretty much the best way to go that we found.
This is the other thing I wanted to mention. You probably heard this in the background when I was showing you how I do the walls. If you're gonna either buy a tool like what I had, or you could rent one too. The place that we rented this air compressor had them, but you're definitely going to want a heavy-duty air compressor to run that thing. I have a pretty decent-sized compressor at home, but it's not nearly what this thing can do, and you need all the horsepower you can get. I think they said this was like 15 CFM or something like that, whatever that means. Cubic feet a minute? I don't know. I'm an idiot, I told you.